Nikola Jokic might be the most underrated two-time MVP in NBA history. Of course, this is depending on who you talk to. Like with all-stars in any sport, they aren't simply overrated, underrated, or properly rated. It's a mix of all three to a certain extent. But Jokic is an interesting case because I think people acknowledge how great he is, but he's not quite the household name that you would expect him to be, given how accomplished of a basketball player he is, but also how fun of a basketball player he is to watch. I've made plenty of videos talking about what makes Jokic such an incredible basketball player, but I'm going to talk about what makes him one of the most unique basketball figures I've ever seen. So quickly to talk about what makes Jokic such a special basketball player, it's the fact that he doesn't truly have a flaw on offense, and it makes him unstoppable. He's one of the best passers in NBA history. We are well past the quote-unquote probably the best passing big ever discourse because he is the best passing big ever and it's not really close. And on top of that, we're at a point where it's a legit discussion if he's the best passer ever, regardless of position. He's that good. And on top of that, he has a very well-rounded and highly productive scoring game. He has excellent post-scoring ability around the basket with incredible touch, and is a pretty decent shooter as well. He may not be perfect as a scorer, but he does just about everything at a level that contributes to high-end production. I can make the argument that Jokic is the apex of what a playmaker is, because on top of everything he has, from insane feel for the game, elite court vision, great pass accuracy, generational pass creativity and manipulation, understanding how to leverage his gravity as both a passer and scorer at the highest level, being a high-level passer and scorer to the point he uses it to create unpredictability that throws defenses off. He's also 6'11 and can see over most defenses. He's unstoppable on offense. You can slow him down at times, but he rarely has bad games. And while he may occasionally have a game where he shoots poorly from the field, which is extremely rare, there isn't a game he plays where he doesn't have an all-time great impact as a playmaker. And this is what made Jokic a back-to-back MVP. His value as a player is that great because he's always impacting the game on offense no matter what. He deserved both of his MVPs, especially his second one because he carried a roster that would not have been close to the playoffs without him. And I don't think he's going to win MVP this season because of voter fatigue. He's already won it twice and we have never seen a three-peat winner before. But he's still having an all-time great season this year. He's averaging 23.2 points per game, 10.1 rebounds per game, and 8.9 assists per game on 63.5 field goal percentage at the time of recording this video. For some perspective, if he keeps these numbers up, it would be the second time he's averaged at least 23 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, and 8 assists per game in a season. The only other players to do this in a season are Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, and Russell Westbrook. And on top of that, if Jokic keeps up this efficiency-wise, he would be the first player to average these kind of numbers while shooting at least 60% from the field. So yeah, a down season for Nikola Jokic is averaging 23 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, and almost 9 assists per game on 60 plus field goal percentage. For any other player in NBA history, let alone the current NBA, that would be considered the best season of their career by far. But for Jokic, it's probably his worst season in a 3-year stretch, and that's only because of how insane his 2 MVP seasons prior to it are. Over his last 5 seasons, he's averaging 23.3 points per game, 11.2 rebounds per game, and 7.7 assists per game. Only 2 other players in NBA history have accomplished a stat line like this in a single season, let alone a 5-year stretch, and those 2 are Oscar Robertson and Wilt Chamberlain. The standard for Jokic is so high because of how great he is year in and year out. Seasons that only 3 other players in NBA history have accomplished at least once is the standard for Jokic year in and year out. But why is Jokic a player that doesn't get mainstream love? He isn't a big-time household name that even non-basketball fans will know. Now, given his greatness historically, that may shock you, but the thing is, Jokic isn't a household name because he doesn't care about being one. Jokic is the most offline superstar in sports. He doesn't have any social media outside of a Facebook page, which he hasn't posted on in over a year. He doesn't really do commercials that often, if at all, either. And really, the only off-court stuff we hear about from Jokic is from reporters, not directly from Jokic. And I have no problems with that because the internet is a scary place and I understand if anyone would want to avoid it as much as possible. But I also find it kind of cool that Jokic isn't online basically at all. I find it cool that a superstar of Jokic's caliber has managed to be as offline as he has been in his career. A two-time MVP that's just out here hooping because he loves basketball and literally does not care about being a star off the court intrigues me because it's extremely rare. It's rare to see any professional athlete, no matter what level they play at, no matter what sport they play, doesn't matter if they're a star or a role player, they just don't avoid the internet the way Jokic does because it's almost impossible, but Jokic has found a way to do it. Now, to be very clear, I don't mean this in a he literally does not have internet kind of way, like how Young Thug tried to defend James Harden on Twitter a year or two ago. One, because believe it or not, I don't know Nikola Jokic personally. He might watch YouTube videos for all I know. But I mean it more in the sense of he just isn't on social media or really in media outside of basketball games and press conferences in general. Usually when you see a player like Jokic from a talent and success standpoint, you expect them to sow their riches off the court on full display, a bunch of commercials, and even a signature shoe. But Jokic doesn't have any of that because he really doesn't care about having any of that. His career has been what we all wanted to do in NBA 2K18 or any 2K since 2K16 to be quite honest with you, but the game wouldn't let us do it. And that's skip over all the cutscenes and things we really don't care about and just play basketball. And to me, that's just awesome. But I'd love to hear what you think about this video in the comment section below. Do you like Nikola Jokic? Do you think he's underrated? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he's properly rated? I know that every answer is just about right depending on who you talk to. But I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section below. I know the title of this video was a bit more negative than you would expect based off the way I talked in this video because I do feel like this was a relatively positive video. I like Jokic a lot. I've made plenty of videos about Jokic on this channel. You guys seem to really like when I talk about Jokic in videos, so I try to get out content on him when I can because he's really fun to watch and you guys seem to enjoy content about him. But with that being said, have a nice day and I'll see you guys in the next one.